Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today I'm going to be showing you the Victorinox Swiss card Lite. Let's get started. This is a Victorinox Swiss card Lite, and you can already tell you have a number of things going on with it, but let's focus on what's on the outside. On the outside are two measuring devices. One's going to be in metric, marked in centimeters, with lines for millimeters, and on the other side we have an inch ruler. We're looking at about 3 inches. The overall size is going to be 2 inches wide by 3 1/4 inches long, and it makes it a very small and compact toolkit, especially considering the tools on the inside. So we're going to start off with a pressurized ballpoint pen for writing checks, directions, names, phone numbers, dates, stuff like that. If you're not carrying a full-size pen, this one will do the job. Unfortunately, you're restricted to just the length of the pen. Typically with Victorinoxes, you can kind of put it back into the tool and use the whole tool as a larger writing device. This one does not allow that. Next to the pen is a pen. So we have a push pen. Popping things, flipping small switches, poking holes in things. I find each one of the Victorinoxes I have that can store a pen, I go ahead and put either a push pen or a sewing needle, and then you have the added benefit of a sewing needle. We have the main blade. We're looking at probably 1.5 inches of usable blade length. Relatively small. I would say it's about, well, stand by. Haha. So this is the Climber, 91 millimeter. We have the standard blade, and we have the secondary blade. This one's going to be about the same as your secondary blade. Not as thick and not as thick. So clearly it's not just the same blade repurposed, but it is going to be usable. The nice thing about this is you can use this almost as like an X-Acto knife. This one, you have to be using the giant handle to do any intricate cuts. The weight and size and width of which may or may not make itself as useful for such situations. So this one's nice and small. I believe they call it more of a letter opener, but we're looking at, like I said, about 1.5 inches in cutting blade, and you can choke up on it and do tighter cuts, closer up cuts, neater cuts with this without the complexity and added weight of one of the 91 millimeters. The only thing I see about this that I don't like is, tell me which end is the sharp end. Okay, because I don't really know either. The spine is here, the edge is here. So you could very easily put your finger on the spine and push with the edge, and that spine's going to push the blade into your finger. There's no markings or anything, so I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of paint on this side, and that's the cutting side. So you will need to get yourself familiar with that. There is a nub right there that will engage in this little cutout. So you cannot put it in upside down. It has to be right side up. Again, you have your Victorinox iconography there. We also have the tweezers, typically standard on the outside scale tools of the 91 millimeter Victorinoxes. This one is being very stubborn. All right, so the scale tool here. Next up we have the scissors. Kind of, they look awkward, but they actually handle pretty well. You can either put them in between your two fingers like this, or if you have small enough fingers, you can run them through there. Again, you have the added benefit of the nimbleness, being able to get into places and maybe hold it a little bit more ergonomically than you'd be able to with the handles there. Then you get into the smaller tool. So we have a magnifying lens. Probably, I mean, the lighting is absolutely not helping, but I believe it's a 5-time or a 3-time magnification, so it actually does work pretty well. Relatively small viewing area. We're looking maybe 3/4 of an inch diameter. So not the biggest, but it actually works quite well. The lighting is not going to work with me here. The next thing we have is a set of 4 screwdrivers. So we have a smaller flathead, wider flathead, a 2-dimensional Phillips, and a smaller Phillips. And again, we're kind of replicating the tool set of this guy, as it turns out, the Climber. And we have the wider screwdriver and the narrower screwdriver. So I think this is a 2.5, and that's a 4 or 5. So you have both of those on here, in addition to Phillips, which we do have on this one as a 3-dimensional, but you have 2 different types of Phillips heads on there as well. And we have a nice little nail nick right here, or you can run it through a lanyard, and you could attach it to a different tool or onto your keychains, or use it as a separate individual tool. And you actually get a pretty decent amount of torque on that, because you have the entire width of the tool to allow you to get the rotation and work on maybe a little bit larger size screws than you would think. The last thing we have is, as a Swiss card light, we have a light. And we're going to kill the studio lights. It's not terrible. So we're going to have to hold it up at an angle, but I mean, it is illuminating my hand over here, and that's over a foot away. So not going to help you find your way in the woods necessarily. It's going to help you prevent yourself from tripping in the woods. Ideal for finding a keyhole. If you're trying to unlock a door or something at night, you don't want to turn on the light or wake up the occupants or something like that. You can use this to find where you need to put the key away. To me, the big selling point of the Swiss card lineup from Victorinox is the fact that it gives you the functionality, practicality, and tool set of one of their 91mm knives without the weight and bulk and complexity of one of their 91mm knives. So in this small little package that weighs, I mean, probably 1/4 the weight of this guy, you have the same pair of scissors, one of the blades, all the scale tools that you would need, 4 screwdrivers, a magnifying lens, and a LED flashlight. In order to get the comparable tool set of this into one of these, you're probably looking at a 4 or 5 layer knife, which is going to be twice as heavy as this, twice as bulky as this, twice the bulge in your pocket, giggity, when you pocket carry this. Or maybe now you need to carry it in a holster, which means now you need a belt, which means now you need suspenders, and or you need to carry a bag with you, or add it to a kit, or. This provides you basically the same tool set, the same engineering, the same quality, the same metallurgy, the same rust resistance, the same name brand, 125 years in the business, warranty covered product, and a smaller, lighter, configurable setup. By configurable, I mean, let's say hypothetically, but also in reality, I have a 4-year-old son who sees me using Victorinox knives and multi-tools and standard tools all the time. Replace batteries in his toys, fix things around the house, what have you. A great entry-level way to get him into multi-tools is to give him a multi-tool that doesn't have a knife and doesn't have sharp scissors. And as he proves himself safe enough and competent enough to have those tools, I can just add them right back. How do you delete the knives out of a knife? I don't even know if there's like a wedge you could press in there or something like that. So you really can't get rid of the blade tool set. So that kind of restricts the age, or at least the competency of the person that you can give one of these knives to. Versus this guy, I can configure it or deconfigure it or decommission it in any way I want to, be it for a kid or other purposes. Let's say I go into a hospital, or I'm going through an airport. I go through TSA. They don't like the fact that I have a big scary blade. Well, it's a letter opener by Victorinox's own admittance. But let's say they call it a big scary blade. I can just eject this and throw that in the trash and keep the rest of the tool set with me. This is $3 or $4 to replace. This is $30 or probably $40 now, thanks Biden, to replace one of these in today's current economy. So to be able to configure the tool set in whichever way you need to, depending on the use, the location, what have you, is pretty nifty. It's something that I would say Victorinox is kind of celebrated for. Most of the tools, that is the cuckoo clock, most of the tools are built in. They are non-removable except for the scale guys. Most of these are removable by design. So again, you can configure it in the manner in which you want. The other benefit to this is, well, it's right there in the name, Swiss card. So this is about the same size, little less wide than a credit card, which allows you a couple options. One, you can add it to your wallet. So this is a Ridge wallet copy, and I can just slide it right in, and it fits in with the rest of my credit cards. The other nice thing is, with the way the Ridge wallet is put together, I can activate that flashlight without having to remove it from my wallet. So if I drop my keys under the car or whatever, and I need a flashlight, I have it right there in my wallet. I don't even have to take it out to get to it. I don't even have to fudge around and find the tools. It's really the only moving component on that side. Now, I will say it would have been nice if they used a different color plastic there. I'm a big fan of high contrast stuff, so I'm probably just going to add some pink to that. But you have that as an option inside a wallet. You also have the option of using this as a wallet. So you can put all your credit cards on here and use a binder clip or use a rubber band or whatever. And now you have a super minimalist, super micro Victorinox quality tool set, multi-tool EDC wallet system that weighs nothing and has everything. Pretty nifty. The last thing we have is an Altoids tin. So if you EDC carry an Altoids tin, or you've considered it, or you want to give it a try, what a fantastic way to have a very small, compact, again, name brand quality, warranted, Swiss engineering, cannot rust. I don't think I've ever seen a Victorinox knife rust. Tool set that's pretty ideal, actually, for building into an Altoids tin. So as always, this is outside the target demographic. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, go ahead and let me know in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.